Hey everybody, welcome to the Management OS podcast, CEO Mastermind.ai. I have an amazing guest here today. His name is Alaric Heck. I've been following Alaric for quite a while. He is, and you're going to want to sit down for this. So if you're driving and listening to this, great, keep doing what you're doing. But if you got a video, you might want to sit down, take a pen and paper. I've seen Alaric speak numerous times. Every time I'm like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. And so I think today we're going to see that. So just a little bit of quick background, then I'll get Alaric to give a little intro and his little bit of history, and then we're going to go into a slide deck because you'd be able to see this on YouTube. So it might be how you actually find us. So Alaric is the founder of Ad Outreach. He is the king of YouTube and the advertising world. Millions and millions of dollars that YouTube spend managing his business, other clients' business. I don't think there's anyone on the planet that knows more about YouTube and how to work and how to make it win for your business than Alaric. So I'm just so humbled that you're here, spending your precious time with us and sharing your genius. And of course, in the show notes for all the listeners and viewers, we're going to put all the links so you can find Alaric. He's a friend of mine. We're working with him. We're excited for where the future is. And I think if there's one thing to take away, and you and I were at the conference this weekend, is like who, not how, the whole concept about who. Alaric is the who. Right. So if you want to grow your business and you want to get to the next level, who is that person? That person is Larry and his company Ad Outreach and the amazing team there. So sit down, let's get ready to go. This is for anyone from a 6 to 9 figure business and above. And so really excited to get into this. So Alaric, welcome to the CEO Mastermind.ai podcast. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to dive in and share how you could use the power of YouTube ads, YouTube marketing to get more leads, clients. Of course, got a presentation I'm going to dive into and then answer any questions that you have. And yeah, definitely excited to share with your community. It'll be amazing. Awesome. Well, if you want, I can go ahead and share my screen here and we can kick things off.
Yeah, let's go. And I think for the viewers, Alaric started like everyone else at ground zero, shy of the camera, not a slick, ready to go funnel that's all optimized. And like he just started and found his way to win and now makes his impact on the world with the entrepreneurs with this magic that he's uncovered along the way. So with that, let's get going.
I appreciate it. I love you talk about the ripple effect of impact too, because I'm a big believer that when you help people with marketing, it's connecting people who have solutions with people that have the problems that need to be solved, and amazing things happen. And video is just a fantastic way to do that. I always, I was just given a talk at the event we were both at, and I said, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000, and it is so true. So with that said, let's get some video on the screen. And I'm going to dive in and share how you can use what we call our alpha AI strategy to generate consistent leads and clients from YouTube ads. We're also going to talk about how the power of YouTube and YouTube marketing in general is really going to be one of the best ways to grow your business. And a lot of you are probably familiar with the classic YouTube ad that's up in front of videos. It pops up, the ad plays, you can click the link. There's a countdown timer before you can skip it. These are the classic YouTube ads a lot of people know about, but what you may not know is there's actually different types of YouTube ads. So these are in-stream ads. These are ads that appear in front of other videos in the stream. So as videos are about to play, this video pops up, and then people can learn more about everything that you're doing. They can take action. We're going to talk about all the different components, by the way, of how to script a winning YouTube ad in just a second. But this is one big component. But there's also in-feed ads. These are ads that appear in search results, in suggested videos, on your phone as you're scrolling through. For instance, like this video, who knows, maybe in the future, because we're working together and run this as an in-feed ad. So you search anything related to YouTube marketing, hey, this could potentially pop up, or all the stuff that the CEO mastery side of things too. So again, there's so much that we can do to get that video in front of people, even if it's a longer form video. So you've got the classic 2 to 3 minute long ads, but you also have your longer form videos you can run as in-feed ads. They can appear alongside other videos. Now there's YouTube short ads. These are the shorts that pop up, short 60-second ad that can pop up as people are scrolling through shorts. And these ads are even on other places inside of the Discover tab, inside of Gmail, other places on Google. Now, all of this comes together to something called demand gen. This is Google's ad format that combines these different formats together to drive new leads and clients. It combines in-feed ads, YouTube in-stream ads, YouTube Shorts, Discover, and Gmail all into one campaign designed to get the best results. But ultimately, what this is all about is using YouTube ads and your YouTube marketing strategy to generate new clients or new revenue and sales for your business. And the big thing to know is that YouTube ads have evolved and Google has injected AI into this YouTube ads and Google ads strategy. What we can do is we can make sure that we are reaching the right people at the right time with the right ad to get conversions. And that's the key, because Google's collecting millions of data points on every single user. And they've injected this AI into YouTube ads, which allows us to reach the right people and unlocks a whole new paradigm for video marketing. I see this as the biggest opportunity. That's why I'm sure I'm here on the podcast to be on the cutting edge of AI advertising and avoid getting left behind. And so we're going to be diving into the alpha AI strategy. Yeah.
Quick thing, I just wanted to remind the audience too. I think I know myself, and I know many entrepreneurs, you probably get overwhelmed with the speed of change and what's going on and all those sorts of things. And what is true is, if that is all true, it's going crazy fast, super fast. But what is also true is that there are other people that are at the tip of the spear, right? They're literally at that point of the spear of carving where the future is going, and that's where you are, right? So that's why we're partnering with you. Excited to have you on here, because I haven't lived this in the last 10 years, and most people have not. And so there are a lot of shysters out there as well too. So we need to be careful about getting the right information. And I think it's having conversations like this and showing your guys' expertise is super critical. You got to know the who, and you got to be able to trust that who, and 100% in you. And I know the people you're surrounded with and you support. So I just wanted to sort of give you that kudos and reinforce you literally are at the leading edge. Like, you're literally tapped into Google right on. And it doesn't get more dialed in than that, right? So thank you. I'll let you keep going.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Exactly. And this is like, and the thing is, there's so much that's changing, but that's why there's opportunities to start tapping into this. That's why I'm here to share and make it a little bit simple, because, really it's all about making sure that your ad stands out from the crowd. And ultimately, this is a strategy that we've helped thousands of businesses implement with YouTube ads, many, big names and all kinds of different companies. And we've used ourselves. We practice what we preach. We scaled the number 60 fastest growing company on the Inc. 5000 with 6,000% growth in a 3-year period using these YouTube strategies. That's where I've had that success. And I started off though, with a YouTube channel. I started actually 16 years ago doing app reviews, tech tutorials, teach people how to use their iPhone. I did my YouTube channel throughout high school and college. You can actually see there's a picture of my college dorm room filming videos that ended millions of views on my YouTube channel, AppFind, my original channel. And I now have somebody else that kind of manages that content. But I would publish videos up there. They'd get a lot of views. People would learn how to use their iPhone for the first time. And I saw the power firsthand of YouTube and how impactful it was. I had all these different apps sponsoring the channel. And one day, one of those apps said, how can I get more people to see the video featuring my app? And that's when I said, you know what? YouTube ads. That's a great opportunity. Let's run some YouTube ads to this video featuring that app, get that in front of more people. And it did so well that the company, they called me up. They're like, all right, Alric, this campaign's going great. We want you to drop out of college, fly out to Silicon Valley, join our team. And I turned it down. I said, you know what? I want to build this myself. And that's where, I went to build ad outreach. And we've obviously seen a lot of success. But this isn't about me. This is about you. And I want to, be able to help you be able to go, and everybody who's viewing this and watching this or listening to this podcast right now, to be able to know how this strategy works. So before we can get into the targeting side, which gets pretty exciting because we talk about the AI ad targeting strategy, we got to talk about first how to write an irresistible YouTube ad script. And the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs and marketers make when they're creating YouTube ads is providing no real value. Think about it. Nobody wants to receive an empty box. You want to provide real value. People are on YouTube for one of two reasons. They're either there to be entertained or they're there to learn. And we want to tap into those people that are there to learn and are in what we call the learner's mindset and create ads that
Mm.
appeal to them. Now, this is a value ad, a video ad that provides genuine value and incites action, gets people excited to take action. And so there's the three main components of that ad. It's a hook that draws people in. There's an educate section where you're providing real value, and you have a clear and concise call to action at the end. So hook, educate, call to action. Now we're going to break that down and walk through, what that actually means. Now, in the hook side of things, especially with your standard YouTube ads, you only have a few seconds before somebody can skip the ad. So I want you to think about your ideal client kind of like this goldfish, right? The goldfish
Mm.
notoriously have a 6-second attention span. So you want to hook them before, they get distracted. And so you want to capture their attention, prime them for the rest of the ad, and you have about 5 seconds to make that happen. And so that's the big part at the beginning is the hook that pulls them in. Then from there, you want to educate. You want to provide real value. We call these golden nuggets, providing real value in your ad for 1 to 2 minutes. And this is where you're teaching. You're actually sharing some of your expertise. You're actually educating. And finally, we've got the call to action. So after you've pulled them in, you've hooked them, you've provided some value. Now we're going to have a call to action, which is where we're going to make it simple for the viewer to take action and opt into the rest of the funnel, a training, a PDF, a lead magnet, whatever that next step is. It could also be purchasing or a software trial, whatever it happens to be. And so that's the framework for a value ad on YouTube is hook, educate, call to action. And I'm happy to dive a little bit deeper into that too, and I can continue on, but I'm curious, yeah, if there's any questions that you've got on your end.
Yeah, no, I think it's, the ability, I mean, you can have the best education. And I think this is also an order of priority, right? Because obviously no one can stick without the education. But I think I liken it to, I think it was Lincoln that said it, give me, 6 hours to solve a problem or cut down a tree. He'll spend like 90% sharpening the axe,
Yep.
right? And I think the axe, if you will, or Einstein problem solution piece is the hook. Because you said it best. It's like, what problem does your client have and what solution do you provide, and how can we get into their heads in 5 seconds to say, oh, that's the problem I have and that's the solution I want that I don't have. And you got to do that all in 3 or 4 seconds. Like, it sounds really easy and it sounds like you can go into ChatGPT and do it, but as always with human psychology, there is a bit of an art and science to it. And I think it takes iterative approaches as well to do it with that. So like, yeah, I think that's a real simple framework, and the educate comes so easy for business leaders and owners and coaches and consultants and store owners and whatnot, because that's what they do every day. What we don't do every day is sort of create those hook moments, right? And unless you're a Jordan Belfort or Jeremy Minor type salesperson,
Yeah.
it doesn't come natural to most people. So you got to spend some time working on that muscle. That's the only thing I wanted to say on this point, because I love this framework, because when I first saw it, it's like, oh, okay, it makes what seems to be very daunting into digestible steps. I'm like, okay, I'll focus on this, make sure the educate piece in terms of that value that you're talking about, and then you're obviously call to action, come to my store, come to my site, whatever it might be, right? So
Exactly, exactly. So it's putting all those pieces together. And that's also what we're here to help with on the hook side. And I mean, really the whole thing, when we have clients, we obviously write the scripts, but I also want to teach people how to do it. And how you do it is it's very similar to like an elevator pitch, right? What's the first thing that you
mm,
say to somebody that gets them to pay attention? You've got your perfect ideal client in an elevator. You need to say something that's going to capture their attention. So what do you say? Then you got to provide some type of value. You don't want to just say, oh, I've got your attention. Do you want to go buy my thing? Or, give me your
yeah,
contact details. You want to actually provide value. So then what do you say that's going to provide value? And then finally having a call to action to get them off of that and into the rest of your funnel. Now, a big thing that a lot of people wonder about is needing fancy equipment. And here's the thing, you don't need fancy equipment to get great results with your ads. In fact, we found that fancy equipment can take away from your message because it feels less authentic. You want to be seen as an authentic authority, right? So you get to be your authentic self, but still show up as that video authority that's providing your expertise and sharing your expertise. You can even use an iPhone and a gimbal to record your video. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, all right, Alric, this might be easy for you to say, clearly love getting on video, doing podcasts like this, but that wasn't always the case. 7 years ago, it was time for me to film one of my first YouTube ads for myself. And I was about 50 pounds overweight. I wasn't confident in how I looked. I recorded a video and I almost deleted it. I almost didn't publish this ad, but I'm so glad that I did publish the video and run it as an ad because this is the first ad to make me over $1 million in my business. And what I learned is it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what you sound like, what your background is. All that matters is that you're authentic and that you're following the process that we shared, the hook, educate, and
Yeah,
call to action. And that's, how to create that irresistible YouTube ad script.
amazing. I think this authenticity has always been important, but I think actually it's accelerating and it's important, especially with an age of AI where sometimes it may be difficult to tell what's real or not. But I think if someone's message and their words, what they see online, and when they see you, whether it's on a call or visit a store or buy your product or buy your book off the shelf, that what they see online is congruent with who you are and how you show up every day. To me, it becomes evidence of your authenticity. So I think I love that you shared that because I do think that is what will differentiate those in the future is the authenticity. Do you show up the same way in every which way? And I think that's key.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. And combining all that together, and people are going to feel that on video, right? It's the best way to build know, like, and trust. And so now that we've got the right video, how do we get that in front of the right people at the right time? That's the targeting side of things. And we're going to start with the basics. Then we'll get a little bit more advanced. But in terms of the basics, you start off with location targeting. So you can choose, of course, where you want your ads to show up, specific countries, but also even regions. You can even go down to a state, city, or even street address that you want to target. Now, there's also device targeting. And this is one thing that we've realized
Mhm.
is if you're looking for conversions, you may not want to get on TV. Now, TV can be great for branding, but it's not the best to actually drive people clicking and buying right away. This is in a different mode. So if you're going for direct conversions, you might want to just run to computers, mobile phones, and tablets when people are actually browsing, watching videos, and then you can drive them to a direct call to action. Now, there's also demographics and income targeting. So there's gender, age, parental status. That's going to depend on your offer, what you're actually looking to promote. But in terms of household income, this is one you want to focus on because if you have a higher end service or offering, or if you're selling B2B, you want to reach people that are in that higher household income bracket. And Google's using all the data that they know. Remember, they collect so much data on every single person. They're using this data to be able to, determine, okay, what are people's potential household income? And then they can use that in the targeting. So there's a lot of different ways that you can target with audiences. There's three main types. There's Google's pre-made audiences. There's using your own data and retargeting, and there's custom audiences. We're going to dive into that because that's where it can get really exciting because you can build your own audiences. But Google has pre-made audiences that they've already created. And there's a few different types. There's in-market segments, so people in the market for something. There's affinity segments, so people that are interested in something. Life events, things that are happening in somebody's life, and then detailed demographics. So some more specific demographics you can target. So within market, you could target people in the market for advertising and marketing, corporate services, staffing, recruiting, all kinds of different in-market audiences based on what people are actually interested in buying. Now, you can see here, let's just use an example. Let's say you're trying to reach people with a fitness or health offer. You can reach people interested in fitness services, fitness programs, personal fitness programs, workout videos, and actually go and target people based on them being in the market for that. Now, there's also affinity segments. This is what people are interested in. So you could target shoppers, people interested in sports and fitness, people who are, into tech or travel. And then let's just use an example here. Let's say you're trying to target investors. You could target avid investors, people into banking and finance, business professionals with an affinity audience and pull those people in as well. Now, there's also life events, people starting businesses, graduating from college, getting married, moving. Another great example here is we had a financial advisor that was targeting people who are retiring soon, and he specialized in late stage financial planning for retirement. And so he could target people retiring soon, but they do have a little bit of a higher income, so he can afford his services to make sense, and then he can help them with their retirement planning as they get closer to retirement. And
Hey,
then there's
quick,
also oh
Hello,
yeah.
quick, just to reinforce. I remember seeing an ad about Google YouTube ads or just Google probably about 7, 8 years ago, driving down a major freeway. I was in the US and I live in Toronto, as you know, but it said Google knows you need a haircut, and you're like, oh my God, how do they know? And at the bottom is because you told us. And I think what you just said is
Yeah.
because we're always typing, searching, we have Gmail, it kind of builds a profile of who we are. Some
Yeah.
people could think maybe it's creepy, but I don't think so. I think it's like, just give me things that I'm currently interested in. If I'm not in the market for shoes, don't show me shoes, right? But as soon as you're interested, it might start showing you things that might be able to help and serve you, right? So I think if I'm not mistaken, no, I'm pretty sure I'm not mistaken. Google has better
Yeah.
targeting abilities than Meta because I know they
Yes.
outperform the ads on Meta. I'm not knocking on Meta, but just Google YouTube environment is just superior, right?
Exactly. More an intent-based platform. So the
Yeah.
thing that Facebook and Meta can be good at is they are good at lookalike audiences because it's a very social platform. So if you're
Mm.
similar to other people, so that's where I'll give them a leg up. I always want to be fair and create, it's like that's where they might have a little bit more strength because it's a social platform. But
Yeah.
when it comes to actually knowing what people are interested in buying and purchasing and looking to learn, YouTube and Google is the best because that's what people type into Google. It's the types of
I
content they
win.
watch on YouTube. And they have Google Analytics, which is installed on more than half every website. We'll get to that in a second, but there's so much capability. So anyways, detailed demographics, there's things like parents of teens, 13 to 17. This was an example of an SAT prep service company that was looking to target parents of kids of a certain age to advertise to them to get them to buy SAT prep services. So again, it's not the teens that are going to be making the decision. Also, if you're reaching just random people that don't have kids of that age, like they're not going to be a good fit for this either. So this is a really good detailed
Yeah.
demographic for people that are looking for, let's say, SAT prep services. So there's some of these more in-depth demographics you can do as well. Now you can also use your own data. This is where it gets exciting. There's retargeting that you can do. You can
Mm.
retarget people going to websites, website visitors, people using an app, YouTube users, customer lists. So what does that mean? You can retarget at people that are already engaging. Now, if you have a YouTube channel, you are sitting on a gold mine. And this is something we also help people with too, is building out the channel.
Mm.
So you don't have to have one already. You can build one out. But you can retarget all the people subscribed to your channel, watching your channel, engaging with your channel. You can retarget those people with ads to get them to convert. You can even retarget people that are liking your videos or watching your videos, not just subscribers. Now we're going to dive a little bit deeper into custom audiences. This is where you can build your own audience. This is what we call the alpha AI targeting strategy. This is kind of the secret behind that. And where did alpha AI come from? Well, it comes from a term in the stock market world called seeking alpha, seeking returns that are better than the average. So I'm sure you're familiar. There's beta baseline returns, and then there's alpha returns, returns that are better than the baseline. And that's what we want to go after. We want to go after these optimized returns. Now, in the world of Wall Street, it used to be as simple as just being better than the trader next to you. But over time, algorithms took over the stock market. And if you had an algorithm,
Mm.
it was like playing chess with a robot. You would win every time. But what
Yeah.
happened? Soon, everybody had access to the same algorithms, which meant it was a stalemate, like two robots playing chess against each other. So insert a new profession, quantitative analysts. Now, their whole job was to train the algorithms using human data and their own knowledge and expertise to create a better algorithm. And they sought alpha results for that. Now, that's what happened in Wall Street, but the same thing's happening now on YouTube. Instead of just using Google's pre-built audiences, you can achieve alpha results by training the AI. And that's why we call it the alpha AI strategy, because you're training Google's AI to achieve better results. And what does this look like? Well, you can target people based on interest and purchase intent. So people that Google knows are interested in losing weight, weight loss programs, fitness coach, nutrition coach, or haircuts as an example, right? You can type anything into this field and Google's using all of its AI to determine, oh yeah, this person fits that definition. It's crazy. Now you can even target people based on what they're searching for on YouTube and Google. So like how to save for retirement, retirement planning, best ways to invest money, how to invest money. If they're searching for these things and you're a financial advisor, well, you can get in front of that person that you know is searching for exactly what you can help them with. And Google's the largest search engine, but YouTube is actually the second largest search engine. So you're tapping into both. Now you can even build app audiences based on apps people have installed on their phone as well. And you can target competitors' websites. This is where it gets crazy. So you can actually
I didn't know that.
yeah. So this is a good one for you as well. So you could target people that are going to specific URLs. So if they're going to specific websites, we can target them the next time they're on YouTube. So in that weight loss example, let's say they're going to Weight Watchers, Noom, Jenny Craig, like one of these weight loss sites, we can now target them with our own ad and our own program, which is really exciting. And you can even do complimentary offers too. So for us, we might target people that are using funnel building platforms or platforms that are for webinar hosting, things like that. We can target people going to these sites with our own ad to get in front of them at the right time. Now, one of the things I ask myself too is, okay, if we can use AI to target the ads, what if I created my own AI algorithm to build and identify the best audience segments? That's what I did with my software, keywordsearch.com. It says AI ad targeting for YouTube and Google ads. And it goes in and you just put in the name of the business, some details about it, and it'll actually find interests of what people that you can sync, what your ideal clients are interested in, I mean to say, search terms that you can target with your ads, all categorized together. And in one click, you can sync these audiences over to Google Ads. It'll even come up with all the different URLs that you can target as well. So it's all in one place. And that's just a way to make the AI even better. Exactly, like reaching the right people. But here's the thing. When it comes down to it, you want to have your YouTube ads stand out from the crowd. I know we touched on this earlier, YouTube versus Facebook. We all do it. On Facebook, we're mindlessly scrolling, right? And it doesn't mean Facebook ads don't work. It's just they're not necessarily going to work at the same caliber. On YouTube, people are looking to learn. They're going on YouTube. They're looking to learn. They're watching videos. And you can get in front of them when they have intent. And you can reach the right person at the right time with the right video to get them to convert. And that is the key to having a successful YouTube ad, is targeting the right people at the right time. And again, remember who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Google. So they actually have Google Chrome, which is one of the most popular browsers. They have Google Search, the largest search engine. YouTube, the second largest search engine. They see everything you're searching for on YouTube. So they see all the content you're watching, the things you're searching for. They also have Gmail. There's a reason Gmail's free, right? There's a lot of data that they're collecting.
And know what your interests are, right?
Exactly. And Google Analytics. Google Analytics is installed on 52.6% of all websites online, more than half of every website. So this is Google Analytics up here. And I bet you can guess what is down here. It's Facebook at only 11.1%. Is that scientific proof that YouTube ads are 5 times better than Facebook? I'll let you be the judge of that. But anyways, jokes aside, like there's so much, yeah, exactly. So much power with Google to target the right people at the right time, all the data points that they have, especially in the age of AI with YouTube. That's the Alpha AI YouTube ads targeting strategy, how all that works. And I was going to actually share this on the podcast anyways, the gift I always give out on podcasts, but also when I give presentations. But I've got a 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF for anybody listening or watching. You can scan the QR code if you're watching this, or you can just go to adoutreach.com/gift, adoutreach.com/gift, and download that PDF that'll walk you through everything. But yeah, so that's our strategy in a nutshell. Obviously, I'm happy to dive deeper into everything and kind of switch over to more the podcast side here. But that's our strategy.
That was amazing as usual. Thank you for giving us that overview in terms of where. So for example, for us and our business that I'm leading, we will start, trying to leverage YouTube instead of other platforms to drive people to brick and mortar, to drive people to services and whatnot. What mistakes do you find most people make, like when they start a YouTube, or like what do you like what do you see as the most common problem when people say, hey, Alaric, I need you to help me? You've helped 3,000 plus now, so that's statistically significant. What are the things that you see that are the common pitfalls or mistakes that most people make?
Yeah, so there's a few different mistakes. On the creative side, one of the big mistakes is not actually providing enough value inside of the ads on YouTube. So here's the thing, like we're tuned to we're trained to tune out ads that say, hey, do you have this problem? Okay, go buy my thing, right? Doesn't provide any value. What you want to do is create an ad that provides value. It's just like the platform that people are on. They're on YouTube. So if you can provide value to them, then you could reach them at the right time, provide value, and actually warm them up, and those will convert better. And then when it comes time to the targeting, one of the big mistakes is kind of what I alluded to. A lot of people just use the pre-built audiences in Google. They don't build their own custom audiences. But that means you're leaving so much opportunity on the table to actually build an audience based on who you know your ideal clients are and then reach those perfect people.
Amazing. Just a question back on the hook value CTA framework. On the value side, what is the typical length? Like someone might think, oh my God, I got to record a 1 hour masterclass. Like what is the general, because I've heard different time lengths, but, and obviously it's a bit of an ad interrupt pattern. So what do you typically recommend people start with if you're not a Tony Robbins, for example?
Yeah. So in terms of, what to start with for the ad, right? Versus the
For the
content.
ad.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
the
for the
ad. Yeah.
yeah. So for the ad, one of the big things you could do is come up with like what's a misconception people have in your industry, or what's a bold statement that you can make, or what's something
Mm,
that is going to really surprise people, catch them off guard. What's a question that you can pose to them? Those are really good hooks because they're going to capture people's attention and interest, and then you can
mm.
provide value and start to answer that question or go a little bit deeper, on whatever you opened up in the hook. So that's going to be a good way to like kind of pull people in and then really play into that with the education that you provide.
If we played this one out, I'm just thinking out loud. So let's
Oh
say,
yeah.
for a hook, um, the secret reason why you need probiotics and it's killing you,
Yeah.
something to that effect, whatever, because probiotics are important to human health. So you can come up with some hook, whether that's good or bad, we won't analyze it, it's done on the spot. But let's say that is something
Yep.
that's relevant. Then we would do like a 2 to 3 minute explanation potentially on that, saying here,
Mhm.
this is, not having the right probiotics is actually killing you. And here's why, because 70% of your immune system, yada, 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 you sort of have your X amount of points. And then you would drive them to, okay, go to this website or go to this location near you and, mention this ad and get 5% off or whatever, depending if it's a digital product, if it's a digital offer or an in-person offer. Because I would imagine they work for both, right? Like
Yeah,
whether
it
it's
works. Yeah. It's just a slightly different strategy, but that would work for both. So what you do is you'd put that into a hook, right? And so, it's something along the lines of uh, most people know that you need probiotics, but what you may not know is that if you take the wrong probiotic, it could be silently, slowly killing you. And so in this video, I want to walk you through how the probiotic you take is one of the most important decisions that you make every day. You see, the big thing a lot of people don't know is this. And here's what you actually need to know, this. And here's how you can find the right probiotic, this, this, and this. And so now that you know how important probiotics are, and then you can go one of two directions, right? So we have our line, or you can go and book a call, or you can go and watch a training that I made where I break down all the components of a great probiotic, right? And so you can send people different directions, but you have the hook that pulls them in, you provide value, and then you send them to whatever that call to action is.
and that's why you're hired. See, that's how it's done. That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. So that's great. And then, in terms of, what are you seeing that is there any format that's particularly working right now, or just basically the same fundamentals? Is there anything unique happening in the last few months, especially with this AI generated stuff, right?
Yeah. So the thing I'll add, so is you can now do AI ad hooks, and I know we talked a little bit about this, but this is a 8-second AI clip that's at the beginning of your video. So it's a ability to hook people, draw them in, and you can now use Google VO3 to create AI ad hooks that can actually make your ads perform even better because you can go in and use that hook at the beginning of your ad to capture people's attention. So in this case, again, you could like make a visual of a probiotic, like like a good one and a bad one, right? Like fighting each other or something like that. Like there's all kinds, like literally you're just limited by your imagination as to what is possible. And so we have found that having a person in the rest of the ad does make the ad perform well, but you can test different hooks at the beginning, including AI hooks, as ways to really capture people's attention and pull them in.
Yeah, I remember you and I, about, I guess, 6 months ago, were sitting in the bus and you were showing me some of the stuff on Google VO3, and it just Hollywood level production for the average business owner is within reach, right? And I think, yeah, just watching that evolve. And I know you did a master class that we signed up for a couple of weeks ago, the VIP program, where you kind of walk through that. We obviously can't go through all of that on this podcast, but um, how are you seeing the VO3 produce stuff working versus, like, is it double the amount of hooks, or like how is it? We know it's performing better, but is there enough data now to say it's 4 times better, 3 times better, whatever that number metric might be?
Yeah, so it's not going to be that much. So at a certain level, like in terms of beating a best performer, now obviously performing better than a lower, like a not as good of an ad, but you might see like a 20%, 30% lift, right? Like,
Which is huge.
but again, that's huge when you're dealing with these numbers at scale. Now, I will caution and say, okay, here's the ranking. Um, right in the middle is a standard best performing hook. So a standard human hook, human call to action, educate and call to action.
Yeah.
A fully AI ad that's AI from the beginning to the very end, AI hook, AI educate, AI call to action is actually performing worse. And I think
Mm.
the reason for that is it doesn't have a human in it. Anybody can build it. You don't really know what this company stands for. What's performing the
Yes.
best is an AI hook at the beginning. So
Yeah.
it's AI, it could be a Superman, kind of come or like a superhero, basically sharing, like why this probiotics are going to be really powerful, whatever it is. But then the rest of the ad is a human ad. That is
Yeah.
what's performing the best right now. So
Not
AI at the
surprised. It's
beginning and then a main
kind
person.
of main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like I use like the idea of like like I call it the AI sandwich, right? You start off with the human, like in
Yep.
terms of like, okay, what's my idea? You put in the AI, you generate something, but then you polish it up with it. For example, like I wrote a book and I use my idea, my IP, then I use AI to kind of, round it out. And then I went back and edited to make sure, okay, is it me? Is it what I say it this way? Because I think it can get you 80, 90%. I'm not surprised that sort of a 1-2 punch is the way that it works, to sort of accelerate results. And to your point, and I didn't mean 2 or 3x, I did mean 10, 20, 30%, because if you're spending, if you get a 20% lift in the front, that improves the rest of the consumer journey. So
Yep.
that could translate to a 20% boost in profit just by optimizing something at the beginning. So like if you're making 1,000, all of a sudden you're making 1,200. And if you're making 1,200 the following month, you're now making 1,200 times 1.2. Like it keeps building and compounding. And I think that's the power of optimization and really nailing things down. So that's awesome. In terms of do you recommend for people starting out to get the VO? Like I know Google Pro, there's Pro, and then there's I forgot what the tier is. There's
The
one that's
Ultra,
like,
yeah. You don't need
yeah,
Ultra. You can just get Pro, which actually is a trial usually. And then with that, you should have the capability to create those AI ad hooks. I also have a video on my YouTube channel. It's just a Google VO3 tutorial. You
yeah,
just look up my name. That can walk, if it's a viewer, through how to use these AI ad hooks and how to create that.
perfect. Well, and I'll put that in the show notes as well, so people can kind of connect and find you.
Perfect.
I know we're running out of time here, and we could probably do a round two because I've got a whole bunch of questions, but then it's going to
Oh
lead us
yeah.
another 40 minutes. What advice do you have for, founders, executives out there who might be afraid of YouTube? What can you leave us with here? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. That's a good question too. So, the thing is, you don't have to be afraid of using YouTube. So there's a couple different reasons people can be afraid. First of all, just will the platform work? Is it going to be worth it? It's like, yes, it's intent. Think
Yeah,
about where are people going? They're going to YouTube. They're watching videos. You can get in front of them at the right time. Also, Google owns YouTube, so you could target people with Google search too, So they're, or based on their Google search to reach them on YouTube. But then the other reason people might be afraid is being confident on camera. And here's the thing, I already told my story about how, I wasn't as confident on camera when I was first creating those ads. But that doesn't matter because really how you show up, the authenticity is key. But that's just one of 3 confidence on camera tips. The second is that, you're on video all the time. If you're on Zoom or FaceTime, You are
Yeah.
on video, right? And so just channel that energy into a video ad. And then the third piece is you get to decide if you delete the video, right? Nobody needs to see it. There's not a rule. I filmed this. I need to share it. You can film it as many
Yeah.
times as you want too. That being said, instead of deleting, I'd really encourage testing it out, seeing how it does, because I think you'll be surprised with the results.
Yeah, thanks for that advice there. I think the idea is just start. You've proven that the data, and I know that the data, that if you're going to reach out to consumers, like you said, Facebook, Meta, all these other platforms have a role, but if you can only start with one, this would be the one that I would recommend starting with. It's sort of what I think we should be doing as well. And I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom, your knowledge. I'll put everything in the show notes for the folks. And really, again, appreciate your time sharing your expertise. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Larry. Have a great day.